What's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of Stretch Podcast. Today's guest is someone that, uh, whether she believes it or not, I've looked up to her ever since I met her.
Oh,
From a working out um, perspective, as well as just go get it perspective. So, if you want to introduce yourself, what you do, and yeah.
all right. So my name is Asia Williams. I'm a fitness professional. I am a personal trainer. I operate out of Evo Gym in Plano, Texas. I also do online training, online fitness programs, and I do a class every Sundays. It's the Sculpt Your Body class. My biggest goal would be to empower women on their fitness journey so that they can see just how unstoppable they are, how powerful they are, and really raise that confidence in them. I really enjoy helping busy women with demanding schedules learn to better prioritize their health because that was very hard for me when I first started my fitness journey. So I know what that can be like. So that's the biggest thing about me. That's what I like to do.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So obviously your focus group is women,
Yes.
specifically. I know you could go outside of that and help men with their journey too.
Mhm.
But what motivated you to start working out, and what was that transition like?
So, what motivated me? So, I did work out when I was younger. I was in cheerleading majority of my life. I did track for 1 year. But I did cheerleading like my whole life, even in college. And then after I stopped cheerleading, I was so happy. I was like, yes, I never got to work out again because, just working out my whole life, I was just like, I'm so happy I don't got to do that no more. So I actually took about 7 years off of working out. And just like as I got older, I was in my corporate life per se. I was a retail manager, a content creator, sometimes even like the model in the videos. Um, and then I was a regional retail manager, so I had multiple store locations as well as doing the um, online customer retention and customer escalations. I did all of that for a company that's a multi-million-dollar company. And so, needless to say, with carrying all those roles, it was a demanding job. It was very mentally taxing. My anxiety levels were high. I was not taking care of myself. I was not prioritizing my eating, my sleeping, fitness, and working out, anything. I just kind of put myself on the back burner and really dove into that company. And I got to a point, I hit a breaking point, almost like a mental breakdown. And I was just like, you know what? I need to start putting myself first. And I started setting my alarm clocks for when I needed to eat and making it non negotiable. I mean, I didn't care what was going on. I'm going to get in my food when that alarm goes off. So I started scheduling things around that. I started going to the gym in the mornings before I had to go to work. I would go to the gym, or sometimes I would go like really late at night, overnight.
Mm.
But I would make sure I got in my workout session because that turned into like my me time for myself. And I started off just really small, like going twice a week. I didn't make it like a really big goal. Eventually, I did end up leaving my corporate job with no plan, just because I knew that God had different intentions for me. And that season it was time for that to come to an end. So I left that job, no plan. And once I left that job, I really was like, I was almost like feeling like a failure. When you have this job that like people almost epitomize, like, oh, you're like doing so good, and then like it became a big part of my identity. So when I left that job, I felt like a failure, and I also felt like I didn't have any direction because again, I didn't have a plan going forward. God had yet to reveal the plan to me as to what was going on. So I really just started focusing on me and working out. And I was lucky enough to have a fiance who helped me and supported me through that time. But I really just focused on working out. And through me working out, I was able to actually start changing my body. And when people saw me go from being incredibly small, because I lost a ton of weight when I was at my corporate job just due to stress non eating, which is common in women. You'll see either women who are stress non-eaters who lose a ton of weight, or women who are stress eaters and they gain a ton of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a stress non-eater, lost a ton of weight, was unhealthily small. And so for people to kind of see me rebuild my body and actually get some curves. I've never had curves in my life, so actually get a little bit of curves. The girls just started asking like, "Hey, do you train? Will you train me?" And I kept saying no. I'm like, "No, I'm not a trainer. I'm not a trainer." And then eventually something just clicked, and I was like, "Why am I telling people I'm not a trainer? I don't have a job right now, you know?"
Mm.
So I started taking on my first couple clients, and then after that, I was like, I really actually love this, and I want to take it serious. So I got my certification through the American Council on Exercise. And it's taken off from there. And now I'm able to do what I love every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm able to help women to get out of that space that I was in, that really unhappy space where they're putting themselves on the back burner and really start focusing on their self prioritization. So it's fulfilling for sure.
Okay. It's crazy because I didn't realize that we had. Well, actually, I didn't know that we kind of have a similar story when it comes to like the retail space,
Yeah.
working in corporate, and the stresses that come with that.
Yeah.
I have a similar story where I used to work. I'm not going to say the company name, but I was in the retail space, working as a manager, and I was like in middle management. So I
Yeah.
had a boss, and then I also had managers under me and employees, and just being the middleman like is so stressful
Yeah.
because it's like if your people don't get what they need to get done, you got to do it, and
Yeah.
then you're also getting chastised about
Yep.
your people not doing what they supposed
Everything
to do,
falls
and
on you.
everything falls on you.
Yep.
And it's crazy because I was stressed out. I had to take a couple leave of absences,
Mm-hmm.
and I was only 23, 24.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the doctor, and they was like, "Yo, like, you're too young to be stressing like this. You need to honestly leave."
Yeah.
And I'm the
Wow.
type of guy like if I don't have like a backup plan, I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
leave. And really, it was right before COVID. Uh, I want to say God got me out of there.
Yeah.
To be honest, so I was let go. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was the perfect time because
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't leave at that point,
Mm-hmm.
it would have got worse. It was right before
Yeah.
COVID, and you know how COVID happened, and like
Yep.
everybody
Got
was
laid
store
off
shopping,
or
and
yeah.
I was at one of the biggest retail companies, so
Yeah.
I would have been working every day. I was salary, so I probably would have been working every day.
That's how it
And
goes.
it
People think
was
salary is good. It is
yeah,
not good
it
to be.
could it could
It
it has
can
its
be.
benefits.
It
Yeah,
has some
it definitely has
benefits.
its benefits, but I don't want to ever go back to that
No.
unless it's
Not ever.
worth it for sure. Um, So that's crazy. We kind of got similar. I didn't even know you were in the retail space
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like how you hear a lot of times like where people um, have their faith in God
Yeah.
and just let God take the role and be like, hey, like what's next for me,
Mm-hmm.
and just believing in that faith and believing in God and just knowing that something better is going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did for you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a success
God
story for
always
sure.
got me. That's for sure.
Yeah,
That's for sure. That was a
yeah,
hard time, though. I will say
I
it
bet.
was a time I feel like my faith was being tested.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to just take that leap in faith and keep that trust in Him. It was
Yeah.
prayer, like every day, all day, like God.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just to kind of be transparent, when your bank account's negative, you don't have any income coming in,
Yeah.
and that gets to you mentally. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was a rough time, but I already knew that like this is what God had told me to do. So I felt a lot of peace in that. It was just about keeping my head down and like staying in it. And just
Yeah.
following the plan as it was laid out for me. So
Absolutely, and that's tough. That's
yeah.
tough for sure. I get it. Um, so obviously, like seeing you online, it seems like you're always busy posting content or promoting. What's some advice that you could give people to just keep working towards their craft and how to go about that?
Yeah, so for me, I go through seasons. I actually just recently got a business coach, and
Okay.
it's similar. It's kind of for this reason, but also she helps me with so much other things. But I noticed that with my content, it's like I can go hard, 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 and then once I hit a point where I'm like overwhelmed, I'll completely shut down.
Mm.
And so for me, just adding on a layer of accountability it's proven to be extremely helpful. And because I have somebody that's making sure that I am doing my
Absolutely, yeah.
work all the time.
Yep.
You know, like when I'm stressed out, I can't just completely shut things down, because from a business perspective, when you do that, if you shut things down, you'll notice that your sales decrease,
Mhm.
your customer reach out to decrease, your
Yeah.
customer contacts decrease. So it's really important to kind of stay on that. I found what's helping me a lot right now is just making it. I'm not really trying to put up the most perfect content. I'm just putting up content that is relating to my life. Like wherever I can get it in,
Mhm.
it's where it has to get in. And so it's not the most perfect content, but I think it's very relatable. It's very real. It's very down to earth, and it's not forced anymore. When I first started, obviously I had a lot more time then to film videos and everything like that. But those were just constant workout video, workout video, workout video.
Yeah.
And now if you look at my page, you'll see that I've made quite the shift where it's
Mhm.
not always workout video. Sometimes I'll put up, if I go to an entrepreneurial or business summit, sometimes I'll put up just different things. Like I just went to a spa to take care of myself. That video is going up.
Okay.
So I try to incorporate different things that kind of showcase
Your
my life,
lifestyle,
my
some of that.
lifestyle as a whole,
Yeah.
which I think makes me more relatable than just posting fitness, fitness, fitness all the time.
Yeah.
They get to see like some of the back end, some other sides of life as well. So I'm just trying to make it relatable, but also make it fit into like my everyday life so it doesn't become overwhelming.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so to piggyback off of that, about like doing other things other than fitness, I see that you post a lot of nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll post you going to the store, and that takes a lot of time. And you'll post you going into the store and then just picking out different items
Mm-hmm.
and then specific items to help with like whatever goes or
Mm-hmm.
priorities you have
Mm-hmm.
um, for yourself. Um, what is like one thing that you could, because like a lot of people think that like with working out it's just the working out
Yeah.
aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people, like I feel like most people know about, hey, like you need to eat right,
Mm-hmm.
but like what is like one advice that you give, or not even advice, but like a tip that you could give somebody about like, hey, like it's not about just working out, it's nutrition as well. It's like
Mm-hmm.
other things, like really mental
Yeah,
as well.
it is.
Yeah.
It's everything is about balance.
Hmm.
I think that with all my clients, I mean, we focus on not just the workouts, we also focus on nutrition. They have protein goals. They have some of them do better with a meal plan. Some of them do better with just carb cycling, so they
Yeah.
have a little bit more freedom. So we kind of play around with nutrition and figure out what works best for that person. But nutrition is a major aspect of fitness, especially if you're working towards a specific goal. You want a specific body goal, a specific way that you want your body to be built and you want it to look. Nutrition is like the key to that. And
Yeah.
you can build up your muscles and build your body. Um, I mean, you can work out all you want to, but if it's not supported with nutrition, you're not building anything. If you're
Yeah.
not getting in an appropriate amount of carbs and fat and protein after your workout to actually fuel, like rebuild your muscles, if you're not getting the right amount of sleep as well,
Hmm.
sleep plays a major part
Yeah.
in your progress as well. Stress plays a major part. There's so many different facets of fitness,
Hmm.
and so really looking at it as a whole. That's why when people are new to their fitness journey, I do recommend having a professional because you have somebody who can actually guide you through all those steps. Versus trying to figure it out on your own is very hard. It's challenging when you don't have like that baseline of knowledge to really be able to do that. But I would say that the top key things to focus on would be, yes, your workout, strength training 3 days a week, doing your cardio 3 days a week, um, eating a high protein diet. Your protein goal should be your body weight. You should be eating whatever your body weight is. That's how many grams of protein you should be eating in a day.
Okay.
Um, and then sleeping. So you want to make sure that you're getting 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night when you are doing your training, because at night is when your body actually rebuilds your muscles that you've broken down. So if you're not getting sleep, it can be counterproductive to your goals as well. So
Makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know you done like outside community workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that coming back soon? Because the people want to
So
know. I want to know.
you want to know?
And I'm your biggest. Well, I don't want to say I'm your biggest. I think I'm your biggest supporter with that. I
Yeah.
will tell people, hey, come out and
Yeah.
what I'm saying,
You
showcase or
brought a few
whatever.
people out. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
you.
no,
Yeah.
no problem.
So with the outdoor classes, I actually switched to doing the Sculpt Your Body classes on Sundays. It just worked a little bit better for my schedule than doing the Saturday mornings, because I have the personal training clients Saturday mornings now. And so I switched it to doing the Sculpt Your Bodies on Sundays at 4 p.m. And those are in Evo Gym. So there's actually like a yoga studio that we do those classes in. As far as the outdoor workouts, maybe every once in a while, if people want to go outside and work out, then we would take that outdoors. Or I could do like a drop in. I don't have anything planned for outdoor as of right now, but
Okay.
that season is coming up. And so I'm sure I'll have some type of outdoor event with
Yeah.
the spring coming up. Yeah.
Do you have to have a membership to get into Evo Gym just to
No,
work out with you?
no, you
No.
don't need a
Okay.
membership.
I didn't even know you were at Evo. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, I'm at
Okay.
Evo. Yep.
Okay. So to me, you've always had like let's get it and no breaks type of mindset.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously you get breaks in between, but people will still be like gassed out, like they'll be breathing hard, and you're like, nope, like
You
let's
talking
let's
about with
get
the
to it.
workouts or with life?
You might be like that with life too, but shoot, I know
Oh,
with the workouts, like even
yeah.
with me, somebody that works out a lot, like you be having me like, damn, like I be telling you all the time, like you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
gives you that mindset and what pushes you to push other people to do the same?
So I think that everybody's kind of different depending on their goals. I
Mm-hmm.
I think that as far as the like time efficient wise, it's better to work out with lesser breaks, especially if you're focused on fat loss and toning. You want your breaks to only be like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
When I'm working with my girls who do muscle building, they get longer breaks, who are really focused on actually like building up muscle and getting thicker. They have longer break periods because we want them to build up back to their maximal strength before we hit that other lift. So the rest periods kind of vary depending on that. But I think that as far as my own personal workouts, I can do workouts where it's just go, go, go. And I think I actually got that from cheerleading, even though like that was years ago. I don't think people really take cheerleading as serious as it is of a sport,
I
but
was just
it
about
is
to ask
it
if
it's
is it a sport?
it's intense. Like cheerleading is very intense.
Yeah.
And you have 2 minutes to complete a full routine. That's like running an 800. Like it's like running, sprinting an 800. That's how hard it is, because of all the physical activity that you have to do within that routine. And so I kind of built up that type of mentality when I was younger from doing cheerleading. So I think that actually transferred into my adulthood, even though it was from so long ago. I
Mm-hmm.
still think that mentality has been drilled into me, and I
Okay.
think that it takes time to really build that up. In fitness, that's not something that you typically see people who are newer have that type of mentality. That takes time to build up to that. I think the only reason that I'm like that is because of where I where I started, and I've noticed that with a lot of athletes. Like if I'm training somebody with more of an athletic background, they have that mindset of really being able to push past the pain because they already know that that's what it's supposed to be like. Whereas somebody who's newer might not
Mm-hmm.
understand that your body can actually go to higher levels than what you think it can. And so it takes time to build that up, even with my clients. And when I first start them out, I don't have them doing crazy stuff because
You
they
don't want to
would they
scale?
would quit.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's just the truth. You have to meet people where they are in their fitness journey and then build back up. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that comes with time. So I hope to answer the question.
Yeah, it did. And then more. It seems like you got a lot of patience for that as
Mm-hmm.
well, and just like you said, like meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
Um, in our heads, like we'll be like, man, like this person could do more than they think they could do, and I believe it's true. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I always say, like you could do more than what you feel like, or what you
Mm-hmm.
think you can do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have that mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good that
It's
that
yeah.
you're meeting them at their level, and then like just having like goals and
Yeah.
priorities that they have to
To
reach.
hit.
And you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if whether it's weekly or monthly or whatever,
It's building
daily.
it up. It's
Yeah.
basically building up people's belief in themselves. Like that's
Hmm.
really what it is.
Yeah.
You have to build that up.
And it's so crazy because I actually see it all the time. Like people
Yeah,
be like, "Oh man, like I didn't know I could do that."
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until they actually do
Till
it.
they do it.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's more so mental too. So like
Hmm.
for instance, like when it comes to like doing reps, like usually people would do between 10 to 12.
Hmm.
But like if I tell myself, hey, I'm gonna do 20, and then when I get to 10 or 12, like I'm probably gonna get to like 15 to
Hmm.
17, like you know what I'm saying, depending on like the weight and
Yeah,
whatever. Like I like personally to psych myself.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Just to do more.
yeah,
And I feel like 10 or 12, like that's people's goals. Like, okay, like, hey, like, man, like, I just have to get to this.
yeah.
But if you tell yourself you have to get up there, you're not gonna
Hmm.
be disappointed if you just get to the 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Like that was really like
A higher goal
your
that you
goal
set for
anyway.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like the outstanding goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so speaking of goals, like you remember the conversation we had last time where
Hmm.
we were asked, well, you had asked me, how are my goals going for 2024?
Hmm.
And it was like funny because like the week before, I was talking to the older guy at the gym, and he was saying like, don't ever have goals, like
Yeah.
have priorities,
Hmm.
because goals are like something that you want to reach.
Hmm.
Priorities is like what you have to do, what
Hmm.
you're telling yourself you have to do. So ever since he said that, like it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And so obviously that's going to change. Your priorities are going to change as time progresses.
Hmm.
So what is your ultimate priority of today? Like as of today, like what is your
um
where do you see yourself? Let's say in like a year.
So my ultimate priority is to help as many women as possible prioritize their health in their demanding schedule. So with that, I'm actually working on getting my own fitness app,
Okay.
um, and focusing a lot more online this year specifically. I want to have an app that basically allows you to do follow along workouts. It will be inclusive of meal plans.
Mhm.
You'll basically have like a full workout library to select from. I don't want to give too much into what's to come with that, but that would be the big goal is just getting my app up and running in full throttle by the end of 2024 would be one of the biggest goals that I'm working on this
That's
year.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you have like? I know you mentioned you have a business coach. Are they helping you towards that as well? And
Yeah,
then like, what does that look like to start an app? Because that's something big.
it is.
Yeah.
I work with the app developer
Okay.
um, company, but I can't really give too much insight into it right now. But I mean it's really a simple process. It takes time just to transfer everything over that you really want within the
Yeah.
app,
Okay.
customize it to like your branding and all that. My business coach is helping me
Hmm.
with the process of that and how it's going to roll out. Um, and so yes, like she definitely is like she helps me with every aspect of my business. So she's feudal to that as well. But that, I mean, as far as the app, really like working seamlessly with the developers is the biggest thing.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know your main focus is women. You mentioned
Mm-hmm.
women pretty much the whole time. Like, are
Mm-hmm.
you also helping? Like, if a man comes to you, like, hey, like, this is my goal. Are you helping them as well, or are you like you'll ship them somewhere else, like to help them?
I would shift them somewhere else. My ultimate goal is for Get Activated Training. That's my company. My company overall is
Hmm.
going to help men, women, elderly, children. So it's going to be a personal training company that
Absolutely.
helps everybody. Me as Asia Activated, I don't help everybody. I have a specific demographic of women that I work with,
Okay.
and that would be like my own personal niche. But eventually, it would be the goal of my company to service men as well. And so, in that aspect, who knows what that'll look like, but
Hmm.
it'll probably look like something where somebody's filling out an intake form, or if they come in person and they say they're looking for this, this, and this, then they will be essentially transfer it to a trainer that's going to best fit that need for
Got you.
them, depending on no matter if they're a man, a child who's looking for help with soccer skills, or a mom who wants to get fit before 40, like,
Hmm.
things like
That's
that.
crazy
So,
because we never talked about it, but I had something similar
yeah.
that I wanted to do,
Yeah.
but I just pushed it to the side for
Yeah.
the moment. So that's crazy that you say that.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges that you face as a double minority? You know, obviously being African American and
Mm.
then a woman on top of that.
Um, I definitely face some challenges. I try not to let those things define me. I
Hmm.
think that it's really good to have a view of the world of this is the way the world is. How can I best navigate within the world with what I have, and with where I am? And so I know that I'm a minority. I do not operate as if I'm a minority, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, I don't put myself in a box, and I'm not afraid to show up in any room. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the room is. I might be afraid to do it, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to show up in that room like I belong there. I think that I do face a challenge for my counterparts, I would say, is that they are already in the circles of people who are willing to, they're in the circles of people who understand what it is to invest into yourself, right? So they already know the types of people who have businesses who are more likely to invest in their health, because that is the crowd of people that they grew up around. I think that in our minority communities, that's a newer it's like a newer thing in our community, like,
Yeah.
I need to work out, I need to really start prioritizing myself and taking care of my health. It's very new in the minority community. And so, like, not being in the circles of, or the demographic of people who already kind of have that mindset because they are of that wealthier class, um, and that affordability. I'm not in that. So having to get into those circles to get that type of a clientele, I would say, is a challenge. But then also, I have a big focus on helping minority minorities in general, and so I have a plethora of different options for that reason, because I already know that for me as a Black woman, I'm gonna appeal to more
Yeah.
minority women. Does that necessarily mean that I'm not able to get those higher price point clients? I surely am, because I'll show up in the rooms that I need to show up in to meet those people. But I've had to build that. It's not something that, like, I was brought up around those type of people. So I think that's a big difference that I see. Like, some of my counterparts are like, oh yeah, I got this client from this person, and they just have all these different connections from the way their lifestyle was growing up. And I think it also not just plays a part in that, but also I'm not from Texas, and I'm also not extremely social. So I think that also, just doing some internal reflection has something to do with that as well. So it's not just that, like, I'm a minority woman and I'm not in those circles. It's also that in recent years I've had to push myself to be a lot more social than I was previously, in order to make those type of connections, in
Hmm.
order to enter into those type of rooms, and things like that. Yeah.
That's good. So you mentioned that you're not from Texas.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, I know where you're from. You can tell the people where you're from.
Chicago.
You got to put your city on the map.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
from Chicago, specifically the south suburbs, Country Club
Hmm.
Hills. So
Okay,
shout
I
out
didn't
to
know
y'all. Shout out to everybody from
that.
Hillcrest. Yes.
Yeah. Is that the
Yep.
high school
Yep.
or?
High school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Cool.